Parakeet? George?
Hello, parrot lovers. My name is Marlene McCohen, and this is my dad, George, and we want to welcome you to Storytime Sunday. I have today with me Mango and Picasso, and today, at your request, my dad is going to tell you the Storytime Sunday. I'm going to try to get a bird on him, but I don't know if it's going to work out because Mango probably is going to spend the whole time trying to eat his button or, chew up his lips. Right, Picasso? So we'll see. I hope you guys enjoy this Storytime Sunday.
What I'm about to tell you is that she doesn't know what had happened. Anyway, she was studying in the university, and my other two kids, Danny and Jenna, wanted a bird. So we wanted to sort of graduate to exotic bird. So I called Marlene and I said to her, what kind of a bird we should have? She talked about, Dad, African gray is the smartest bird. You gotta get African gray. I never knew even what African gray looked like. Anytime she said African gray, I didn't know how to memorize it or remember it. I just said to myself, Earl Grey, and just make it African gray. That's how I remembered about African gray. I went to a friend of mine, asked him about the bird. Does anybody have that's selling birds? And then they told me that, yeah, there is a guy who's rearing birds. I went to him and I said to him, okay, I heard about the African gray. So he kept telling me, yeah, African grays are the best. It takes about 6-7 months, and then we'll give you an African gray. I says, great. So I told Marlene, yeah, I've ordered a bird. When I asked him about the price, it was like astronomical. So I said, no problem. Okay. He says, you got to put a deposit. And I says, no problem. He says, then you can come and visit it. And I said, yeah, I got excited. I says, I'll visit it and I'll take pictures and I'll send it to them. Fantastic. Anyway, 2 months passes by and he says, I got your bird for you. And I'm going, wow. Didn't you say 6 months? How is it possible? No, he says this, and I says, well, tell me about it. He says, no. I gotta come. He had one of them salesman attitude. Got me excited, and I told everybody, the bird is coming. Sure enough, I'm coming up over there, and he says, well, this bird is slightly cheaper or whatever. I says, whoa. Not only is earlier, and it's cheaper too. And I said, okay. The whole idea that my wife did not want a bird at all. And then because Marlene said, African gray, I said, okay, we'll see because he's an intelligent bird and we'll bring the bird over. Anyway, this guy brings a box over and I'm looking at it and I'm just opening and I see a little bird that almost doesn't have any feathers. And I'm looking at it and I've seen I've seen African gray, but I've never seen a white one. And I'm saying to him, what is this? He says, well, I know you kids and everybody loves bird. I wanted to hurry it up. But I says, what is that? Because I never could understand what I'm looking at it. And he's bald and he's yellow on top of his head and no feathers. I'm looking at it and I'm picking it up. And I'm going, my God, that's not what is it? But anyway, it was very cute and everything like that. Danny and Jenna jumped up and said, yeah, we can keep it. But I'm going to the guy, listen, my daughter told me about this African gray. What is this? No, he says, this is better than African gray. I says, does he learn to talk? Yeah, he'll talk. He'll do everything. But I didn't know. Did he talk? Did he scream? He didn't talk. He turned the house upside down. But anyway, we took him out there. And then my wife says, what is that? I says, that's a cockatoo. She says, oh, it's an ugly looking thing. I said, well, I think the feathers will grow and it'll look better. And I says, what is it? I says, it's a cockatoo. So she said, well, I don't want cockatoo. I want whatever Marlene said, African gray, and I want to be able to talk to him. We realized that she's objecting, but it's too late. We can't give the bird back. And now Jenna and Danny are all excited about the bird. So we come up with an idea and we said to my wife, oh, you know what to do? You name him. So we got her excited to diversify the situation away from African gray to, her naming the bird. And of course, what she did, she named him Duffy. And she's an Irish one and she wanted to call him Duffy. So we said, okay, Duffy. Because we didn't know if it was male or female. So obviously, she assumed that he's a male and she called him Duffy. He had to be hand-fed and hand fed him, and then he got used to us. It's a beautiful, he grew up very quickly. His white feathers were all, there was like a pudgy little fat one, a fat one. And then what I used to do, I used to play with him and take his head and then just slightly twist his neck and kiss him, and he liked it. And he used to puff in his body and the hot air, and he liked it because, just try to remind him of his mother or whatever. Mother. Anyway, that bird grew up and we gave him the freedom of the house. That was the biggest mistake. We had a cage, but yet again, he was never in the cage. He was roaming around and he did what he wanted. Somehow, he liked to get up to the banister and he would go up and down, up and down. And of course, we got to like it, and anytime he come down, we clap for him. And then the more we clap for him and we more, encouraged him, the more he went up and the more he went down. And then after a while, we got tired of even encouraging him. We don't want to, because he expected us to clap for it. But there was a story behind that. We didn't know why he liked the banister going up and down, because we had a TV and we had all this equipment, Suddenly we realized that nothing works. When we went at the back, we found that all the wires were chewed up. And then we're looking at it and we're saying, everything is chewed up. It's like you couldn't connect anything to anything. So anyway, I called at him and I shouted at him, Duffy, what are you doing? So now what did he do? He wants to slide down and diversify the situation. Am I getting angry at him? And he's ooh, coming down. And I'm saying, hey, you, look at this. What did you do? And he's like, ooh. And then he realized really that I'm serious, because my wife came in and pointed at him. And then suddenly he stopped. He stopped and he's looking at both of us, and he gets his thing up and he says, oh, they're angry at me. And he's pretending like he didn't do nothing. I had to go and pick him up, and then sure, he ran away up the banisters and I couldn't reach him. So he stayed there for a while and he wouldn't come down. So anyway, we had to get the people and get to do the wiring for the TV, and we realized that we can't let him go up and down the banister because he makes a mess. And that was our first experience, that we realized that this cockatoo not only doesn't speak, makes a lot of noise, but he made such a screeching noise that all the neighborhood, we have a siesta between 1 and 3 or 1 and 4, and this guy would scream, and the people didn't know, where the hell is this screaming? What kind of animal is this? So one day I got a knock on the door, and he said to him, what do you have in this house? What is he screaming like that? I says, nothing, it's a cockatoo. And he was like upset, but instead of that, I brought him in. I says, oh, look at him. He likes you, he's a cockatoo. He says, man, I can't believe such a little bird, but he screams that place down. And I'm telling you, all the neighborhood knew about it. One day, she wanted to entertain herself and train him. His cage was by the light, and she wanted to train him how to turn it on and off. So he would go, turn on, turn off. And then one day, the complete switch is out of the socket. He had removed it, and we looked at it and we realized, wow, this is a destructive bird. He can do so much destruction, you will not believe it. And also, it's so clever, and I think that what he does is he's got a sonar in his mouth. He knocks around and he finds out the weak point, and then he puts his beak on it, and then he puts with the weak point, and then he takes it all out. Even you take a screwdriver, it's hard to take it out. And how he would do it was amazing. Eventually we decided, okay, let's find out, really he can do it. And he could take it piece by piece, exactly how it was put on, to take it all out and unscrew it all together until it's totally destroyed. Then it would just drop it. One day, we were renting this house. We went out, and I think we forgot to lock the cage. But I think what had happened was we were locking, but he could open up the cage and get out and roam around the house. Anyway, I think that when we came out, we saw him somewhere, on a banister, and we picked up and we played on him. And then my wife just went downstairs, and she saw, my God, all the door. We had this bombing shelter, and the door is really quite thick, and you can't do anything with that door. And this guy went in, and it's a vacuum vinyl. It's like a vacuum up on the door, and he managed somehow to puncture it and peel it all off and create his own creation. When you come to the house or you go downstairs and you see, wow, this story had an unusual unusual drawing or somebody that professionally took it all apart. One day the landlord came over, he comes in and he looks and he goes, "What is that?" And I'm going, "Well, you know, we have an artist in our house." He says, "An artist? I mean, that's impossible to do." And I says, yeah, I'm introducing you Duffy." And Duffy keeps looking at him, you know, and then he's looking at him. He says, "What?" I says, "Yeah, this little bird did all this drawing on your door." And he goes, "Wow, this is unbelievable." And he said to me, "Well, your deposit is gone." Well, of course, I knew that he's done the damage. And then when we came to US, we ended up with just identical bird, which was Thai. And that was another miracle. But isn't that funny that we wanted the African gray, but we ended up with someone totally different, and with all the mischievous that he does and all the damage that he does, we managed to put a blind eye to it. I mean, you come to my house, and Ty, I think he's got his signature everywhere. He signs it, all his signature. So basically our house is a bird house, no matter where we are or where we went or what furniture we got. We got good furniture, but somehow the presentation is never there. So anyway, that's my little story with Duffy. That's supposed to be an Earl Grey, and he ended up a yellow cockatoo. I hope you enjoy your Sunday, and you never know what life brings up.
I hope you guys enjoyed this Storytime Sunday. Did you enjoy telling it, Dad?
Oh, very much. I enjoyed it. We went back in history and found out. And you don't know what life brings you. It's a beautiful story. And I think that the birds are the most beautiful creatures, you know, like an eagle that has rules over the skies, over the earth, and over everything. So they're the most powerful. The design is the most beautiful designs that you can really appreciate and see the hand of God on these creatures.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We really enjoyed telling you this Storytime Sunday. Please subscribe. We love new subscribers. Follow me on Instagram at Marlene McCohen. And if you have not joined Parrot Station, that's our group where you can show me your birds. That's on Facebook, Parrot Station. Come join today. You don't need to have a bird to join. If you just love watching birds, just come see all the amazing videos. And that is it, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Go and buy one.
With doing all your research first, right, Dad?
No, buy one and learn.
No.
Don't worry. That's how we did it.
That's how. That's
We didn't know nothing about the birds. We just went and bought one and we learned. The bird taught us, and then we taught everybody else.
But you know what happens, Dad, is people aren't prepared for birds like Ty to eat their furniture, and then they give them up.
Yeah, that's true. But why don't they start with the small ones like this? You know? like Picasso and
Mango? Oh, yeah. These guys would turn anybody into a bird lover.
Yeah, they don't have to graduate right away with the big ones.
Definitely not.
It could be frightening.
It is frightening. But do your research, watch all the bird videos, and know that they need attention 100% of the time. Because you know what, Dad? You knew that. You have that in you to like give an animal attention, but a lot of people, they put birds in cages and they think it's okay.
Yeah, you gotta spend a lot of time, and the bird gives a lot of love, and also they're very possessive.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very possessive. They want to be with you all the time. They want to eat what you eat, and then eventually they pick up your characters, and you will not believe it. We have the bird time, and my son, as soon as comes in, and whatever mood he is in that mood. You know, they pick up the moods and they just act like you. But then again, if you have no kids, that's a brilliant substitute.
These are my dad's grandfids.
Yes, they are. Wow. We haven't seen the real one yet, but we'll see. Yeah.
I better go before I let him stay on that subject too long. We love you guys.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care. Happy Sunday.